Hello, this is the first video on my turbo diesel motorcycle build. So this motorcycle started off as a 1979 Suzuki GS750, and the engine that I chose for this build is a 10-horse Chinese clone of Yanmar. It's a diesel, it's a 186F, and that engine started out originally as a completely mechanical engine. So I tore it a little bit apart and bought all the parts. So I installed the starter, the charging whirler, the stator, and of course the magneto. And the charging system seems to work pretty good. The turbocharger is a VZ21 turbocharger. I haven't run it yet with that turbo on it, so hopefully everything works out well. Below it is a Comet 40 series CVT. I bought this as a kit. However, the plate had to be modified. I had to cut it down the middle and put about a 4-inch space in between, so the drive sprocket could clear the fuel control on the back of the motor. And it seems to work out pretty good. Coming around to the other side of the motorcycle, as you can see, I stripped the motorcycle completely down and hand sanded it, and gave it some rattle can action. So hopefully it stays hard and can stand up to the abuse. So the exhaust is the original Suzuki exhaust that I cut up, and it's actually ceramic coated exhaust, so it's one of the benefits of having it. There's a couple of little chips in the ceramic, but all in all it's good 1.5-inch exhaust. And of course I put a little reducer in there with my amazing welding skills, and just right into a thrush, or just a glass pack that I found online somewhere. So a couple of things that I still need to do. This tank is the original tank. It's got some rust in it, and it needs some love here and there. But I actually don't mind the way that this tank looks on the motorcycle. So I'm going to need to sort that out. And I'm trying to keep this motorcycle as ergonomic as possible. So the left handlebar is just going to be a grip and some minor, or just some controls. The right handlebar is obviously going to be the front brake, and I'm going to try and make a bracket onto the foot peg that I haven't installed yet, and have it come back to the original rear master cylinder. So I'm going to try and keep it as as original, quote unquote, as possible. A couple of other things I have to do. Obviously the wiring of the entire motorcycle. This motorcycle is going to be electrically controlled now, so instead of it being a mechanical shut-off solenoid, I'm going to have an electric solenoid, and obviously everything from there, the turn signals, headlight, and whatnot. A couple of other things obviously I have to do is the foot pegs on both sides, the intercooler, and the intercooler piping, which I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do. And obviously the turbo pressure and return lines. So these engines come from the factory with a pressure port, and I'm going to just put an elbow off of that and come up to the pressure side. If you'd focus the pressure side of the turbo, feed it nice and fresh 1540, and on the bottom side, the return, I can either go to the front oil fill, or coming around to the other side to the rear oil fill. I think I'm going to go to the rear and try and keep it out of the way of everything, just so it'll have a nice happy home there, so I don't have to mess with it. And I think filling it with oil from the front is probably going to be easier. So this is the first video of my build. I hope I get to make several more of this running within the next few weeks. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.